Add dimension to your title using the Type tool and the Selection tool. This video is being filmed in expert mode of Photoshop Elements, but the instructions are exactly the same for Photoshop except where noted. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add dimension to your title by adding a shadowed tab and a type layer. I've already opened the tab title template from the download folder and pressed the letter D to reset the color chips to the default of black over white. We'll be working with this space between the title and the journaling, so press Control plus, Command plus on a Mac about 4 times to zoom into that area. To reposition while zooming, hold down the space bar and click and drag on the document. First, we will be making the initial tab in which to place the beginning title, letter, or character. So get the rectangular marquee tool. In the tool options, click on the new selection icon. Set the feather to 0 and the aspect to fixed size. Photoshop users set the style to fixed size. Set the width to 0.35 inches and the height to 0.5 inches. In the Layers panel, click on the left stroke frame layer to make it the active layer. We will be placing tabs between the left stroke frame layer and the top photo clipping mask layer. When placing the tabs on a different layout, be sure to tuck them in behind the edge of a photo or element to create a connection. Next, click on the Create a New Layer icon, and then double-click directly on the name of the new layer and rename it Tab, and then press Enter or Return to commit the change. On the document near the bottom of the photo frame, click once to make a selection. Press Control Backspace, Command Delete on a Mac to fill the selection with the white background color, and then press Control D, Command D on a Mac to deselect. In the tool options, set the aspect back to normal. Photoshop users set the style back to normal. Next, let's add a drop shadow to that tab. In the Layers panel, the tab layer should still be the active layer. In the menu bar, choose Layer, Layer Style, Style Settings. Photoshop users, please refer to the manual. In the dialog box, set the lighting angle to 120 degrees. Click directly on the words Drop Shadow to open the settings. Set the size to 13, the distance to 8, and the opacity to 35%, and then click OK. Now it's time for us to add a letter or a character to the tab. In the Layers panel, the tab layer should still be active. Get the horizontal type tool, and in the tool options, open the font picker and choose a print style font. I'm going to be using Myriad Pro Regular. When choosing a font, you'll want to use a print style or handwritten font and use all caps to keep the type layers uniform in size. You'll also want to avoid a script style font because the letters won't connect and it will make it more difficult to read. Back in the tool options, set the size to 24 and then click on the center alignment icon and click on the color chip and choose black. Photoshop users, click on the color chip to open the color picker and then choose black and click OK. On the document, click once in the center of the newly created tab to place the cursor. Type the first letter or character of your title in caps, and then click the check mark to commit the type. In the Layers panel, hold down the Control key, Command key on a Mac, and click on the thumbnail of the tab layer to get a selection outline. The type layer should still be active, but if it's not, click on it to make it the active layer now. Get the Move tool, and in the tool options, click on the Align Horizontal Centers, that's the middle icon, and on the Align Vertical Centers icon to center the type layer on the tab. Press Control D, Command D on a Mac to deselect. Different fonts may yield different results, so depending on the font you choose, it may be necessary to adjust the font size to best fit the tab. Now that we have our first tabbed type layer finished, we're going to duplicate them and reposition them to continue our title. In the Layers panel, the type layer should still be active. Hold down the Shift key and click on the tab layer to activate it. Both layers should now be active. Hold down the Alt key, Option key on a Mac, and drag a duplicate copy of the layers below the previous tab layer and above the left stroke frame layer. Get the Move tool, and in the tool options, uncheck Auto Select Layer and uncheck Show Bounding Box. Photoshop users uncheck Show Transform Controls. With both layers still active, hold down the Shift key and press the right arrow key 10 times to place both new layers to the right where they end up slightly under the right edge of the previous tab layer on the document. Use the arrow keys to nudge alternating layers up or down to add interest. Repeat these steps to duplicate the tab and type layers for each letter or character needed for your title. Be sure to drag subsequent layers below the previous tab layer and above the left stroke frame layer. Now let's change the letters. Get the horizontal type tool and in the layers panel, double-click directly on the thumbnail of the letter you want to change to highlight it. Type the new letter in all caps and then click the check mark to commit the change. Repeat these steps for each letter you wish to change to complete your title. Double-click on the thumbnail to highlight it, type the new letter, click the check mark to commit the change. Once you have all the letters the way that you want them, press Ctrl-0, Command-0 on a Mac to fit the image to your screen. Lastly, add photos, a date, some journaling, and some elements to complete this page as desired, and save the document as a layered PSD file with a unique name. Here is my finished page after I changed the font and adjusted my tabs just a tad. I love how the tabs add some dimension to my layout. I can't wait to see what you come up with using this technique. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. This has been Gina Harper with Digital Scrapper. We help you get your stories told.